Hi Dollar Divas, welcome back to my channel. So today I am testing out some new Dollar Tree makeup that I recently hauled. This is the finished look. As we go through the video, and especially at the end, I will give you a rundown of what I think of all these products. I have quite a few things that I've tested today, so super excited to share my thoughts with you all, and I've got some strong ones. So of course, if you're a returning Dollar Diva, thank you so much for coming back for another video. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Jessica, and I'm basically a bargain beauty channel. What I mean by that is I love to do a lot of the same fun content that other beauty channels do. I just like to keep it at the bargain price point. So the closer to $1, the better. So of course, today we're testing out some new Dollar Tree makeup as well as some Dollar Tree makeup brushes that I hauled as well. So if it sounds like you're in the right place, I do hope you'll become part of our Dollar Diva family here on YouTube. And as always, I will have relevant content linked down below because I've been doing this for quite a while now. So if you want more content like this, definitely check out the description box after you're done watching this video. So we have a lot to get into and talk about today. So without any further chit chat, let's just go ahead and get into today's video. So I went ahead and already did my brows with my LA Colors eyebrow pencil. And I will clean them up on camera because I do have a new concealer. Or at least I'm hoping it's a new concealer. I'm hoping LA Colors has reformulated this. They did change the packaging, and I'm just hoping they have made this better. I'm also gonna be using new brushes today. So this is from Sassy Chic. I'm gonna use that little end of the brush to clean up my brows. These feel really, really, really nice. I really like the handle, and so we'll see what kind of a job this does. So this is the shade Nude. Fingers crossed that this is better. I'm just gonna put some of the concealer on my brush. And oh my, y'all, they did not reformulate this. It literally does nothing. Literally does nothing. I'm gonna try to add more. I'm gonna add it directly to my brow. The shade's a little darker. I would like a lighter shade. I didn't see a lighter shade. This seemed to be the lightest one. So yeah, cleaning up the brows, it's literally doing nothing. I can't even tell that it is on my skin. It's literally doing nothing. Literally, I can always tell like a concealer by how it cleans up my brows. And literally there is no difference between my brows. And you guys saw I put a bunch on there, and it's not even covering up the redness because I just tweezed my brows. I mean, maybe it got rid of the redness a tad. I don't know. But you can see it's literally doing nothing. I would say that not only is this a terrible concealer, I think it's even worse. I think they literally have made this even worse. But yeah, it's literally the worst concealer I've ever used, hands down. The packaging says it covers and conceals. It doesn't do either of those things. So I will try it under my eyes, but yeah, so far this is a major fail. But I do want to give the brush a fair try, so I'm going to use some of my BPure Hydrating concealer and go in and see how this brush does. See, that's actually doing a job, y'all, see? So I like this for cleaning up my brows. Seems to be a really nice brush. There are lots of really good makeup brushes at Dollar Tree. They may not last as long through washing and stuff as, you know, maybe something more expensive, but for the money, you really can't beat a lot of Dollar Tree brushes. So I'm just gonna blend that. So there we go, my brows are cleaned up a bit. So I'm not gonna prime my lids because I find that I kind of feel like with liquid shadows, I don't have to prime my lids, at least personally. So I got a couple liquid shadows I'm gonna use today. I'm gonna be using the Mercerie liquid eyeshadow. I don't know what shade this is. It doesn't really say on it, but it's kind of like a light lilac shade. And then I'm gonna be using one of the LA Colors liquid liners from their Halloween line. This is the shade Stark. I'm gonna use this for my inner corner, and I'm gonna use this for like all over my lid. I'm gonna clean off that brush that I used for my concealer as well, because I sometimes like to use a brush like this to spread liquid shadow on my lid. So I'm gonna first put it on with the brush. I'm just gonna put a bunch of product on there, and then I like to smooth it with a brush like this. At least that's what I usually do. Okay, it's getting a little bit of an effect. I'm gonna use the brush and see. It's getting a little bit of effect. Actually, I mean, it's really pretty. It's not like super pigmented, But it does seem to be kind of a soft effect. Let me know if you've seen any other colors of these Mercerie liquid shadows. They were in the regular makeup aisle. I have not seen the big display yet of the higher priced Mercerie items. This was just in with the regular makeup, so it's $1.25. So I think I'm trying to look on my monitor. The effect is pretty. It's subtle. It's not like a super, super like wow effect, but it is pretty shimmery. Like I said, it's not super, super like eye popping, but it's pretty. We'll kind of see what it looks like with like lashes and liner and all that kind of thing. And then I'll add this one for an inner corner highlight when we come back to our eyes. So jury's still out on this. I'll kind of see how I feel about it. So I feel like I could kind of go either way with this. So I'll kind of give a final update at the end of the video when I have everything else on. Okay, so I just put on a coat of mascara and I'm gonna now try out a new eyeliner. So Mercerie also had a couple of liquid eyeliners. They had these felt tip pens. They had brown and black. I'm gonna be using the black today and seeing how it does. Again, these were $1.25. These were just in the regular makeup aisle. It's going on very pigmented. I love the brush. It's very easy to control. I'm a fan. It's supposed to be waterproof, I think, too, according to the packaging, I think. Either waterproof or smudge proof. Okay, I did a really terrible job with my wings. I made them a little bit too much. So the liner, I really like it so far. Like I said, I did a terrible job with my wings today. Sometimes I feel like doing my eyebrows and my eyeliner gets harder as time goes by. Anyways, so now that I get the liner done, so I'm gonna add lashes, then of course we'll come back to the eyes at the end. But when I come back, we're gonna move on to face because I got a bunch of complexion products. So I'm gonna add my lashes and I will be right back. Okay, my lashes are on and I think my liner is just a little uneven because I just didn't do a very good job. Not so much my lashes, but we will move on. So I do have a new foundation to try. Of course, LA Colors repackaged their liquid makeup as well, and I'm not thinking that this is going to be any different. I did get the shade True Beige. This has never been my favorite face makeup at the Dollar Tree, but it's not as bad as the concealer. I had high hopes that they had reformulated these, but I'm not really thinking that they have. But we will give it a try. I do like the little pump bottle. Usually this foundation, like I said, I don't like it as much as I like the Sassy Chic. Like you can kind of build it up, but generally I feel like it kind of just slides around my face when I try blending it in. So we will see. I am hopeful. I'm actually not hating it. It's actually blending into my skin very, very nice compared to like sometimes how I felt that their foundation would blend in. It does feel like it's sinking into the skin. I feel like I am getting some coverage. I feel like I am having to use like a good amount. Like this is the third time I put some more on my blender. I would say that this is a light coverage foundation. It's not, if you need a lot of coverage, this probably isn't gonna do it. But like I said, I feel like it blended in a little bit better than it normally does. Like I said, I don't feel like it's really like the best coverage in the world, but they may have messed with this a little bit. I'm not really sure. They certainly haven't with the concealer other than maybe making it worse. Let's go ahead and go in with this under the eyes and see if it does anything at all. If not, I might just go ahead and use some foundation. I'm gonna do one eye and see if it makes any difference compared to the other eye. So I feel like it's done a little bit of covering up, and it is better, I think, for this than it is for cleaning up your brows. This is a complete no-go for cleaning up your brows. But, yeah, I do kind of feel they made this concealer worse. As bad as it was, I do feel like it's actually might be a little bit worse. So I'll give my final thoughts at the end of the video, except you know how I really kind of feel about this concealer. I just think it's pretty much a waste of $1.25. So I'm going to add some of my LA Colors pressed powder, and I'm going to go ahead and use the other end of this Sassy Chic brush. And I'm just going to brush this on. I'm not going to do any like crazy baking or anything like that today. The brush is pretty soft. It pokes you just like a little bit, but nothing crazy. It's really actually Very nice, especially for $1.25. So now I've got a new blush and bronzer. I have 2 shades of each. I'm gonna go with these ones today. So for the bronzer, I've got Sunset Glow. This is from BColor. And so it's kind of a rare beauty dupe. They finally came out with bronzers. They need to come out with highlighters now, I feel. So I'm gonna put some on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna go ahead and use the Sassy Chic Kabuki brush. And I'm gonna see how this applies it. I heard that this kind of dries down pretty fast, like you have to kind of work quick. And I'm gonna try not going so heavy-handed. So I think the color is really nice. Actually, the color, very, very subtle. It's reading a little bit more warm on my camera as my camera does. The brush is really nice. It's very, very lightweight. Like, it doesn't feel substantial, but the bristles are really pretty tightly packed. And I think it's doing a really nice job kind of blending this product. I think the other shade is darker than this. This is the lighter of the two. So I'm gonna put a bunch more on the back of my hand, get the other side. Yeah, I think the bronzer is really, really nice. The shade is really, seems to be really good for like my skin tone. It seems to be something that even if you have lighter skin, you could use. And I really like the Kabuki brush. I'm gonna also use this for the blush as well. So I'm just gonna kind of wipe it off, nothing crazy. I don't mind if there's a little bit of bronzer in there. So I'm gonna use the shade Mystic Mauve in the BColor liquid blush. It's now a 3rd shade. So now they got 4 shades of this blush. I would love for them to come out with a highlighter. There's the shade. The other shade is a little bit more of a deeper pink. I wasn't quite ready for that today. I kind of thought today's look would be a little bit softer. A little bit of this goes a long way. Of course, I went overboard. Just gonna take my beauty blender and just try to diffuse it a little bit. There we go, really nice. I do, over time, have gotten to feel like these are a little bit splotchy. So they're not my favorite liquid formulas anymore from Dollar Tree, but they're workable. So I'm gonna add liquid highlighter, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use my LA Colors Conceal and Correct in the highlighter shade, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use this Kabuki brush again, because we are testing it out. And so I just cleaned off the Kabuki brush. Again, just wiped it clean. Of course, I'll be letting you know what I feel overall about this Kabuki brush, because I do have some thoughts. There we go. So now I'm gonna add some finishing touches to the eyes. I'm gonna go in with the LA Colors Liquid Shadow in Stark. So the only thing that's kind of wrong with mine is, and it's just this particular shade, the stopper was loose and it's ending up in here, so it's like kind of open, and it seems to just be this shade. And I'm not always able to get it kind of back down without using like pliers. So I'm gonna use a little thin brush like this. I'm just gonna put a little bit on there. I'm gonna go into my inner corner here. Yeah, just as I suspected, this here is gonna be a whole lot more eye-popping than the Mercerie. I'm gonna blend a little bit up and into my inner corner of my eye a little bit. There we go. I do feel like this is gonna kind of save the look for me. And you guys know me, I'm not so much a subtle person, so this liquid, so the Mercerie liquid shadow may be good just for the average person. You know, if you want something that's just a little bit, got a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of shimmer, but nothing too crazy. But you know, when I do look in my monitor right here, I do see that it does look a little bit more shimmery than I think it is. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that and take that same brush. I'm gonna try to go a little light-handed here. I wanna put a little bit under my brow bone here. Just very subtle, nothing too crazy. So I'm gonna try out one of the lip plumpers from the IONI Halloween line. This is in Paloma Roja. It's supposed to have some good tingle to it, and it's just basically a red kind of lip gloss lip plumper. It's going on really nice. In my experience, these are like the most intense lip plumpers from Dollar Tree as far as like the tingle. I probably should have lined my lips because I feel like it just looks a little messy. I don't love the shade, to be honest. I'm so picky about anything red. I probably would like the shade better if I had lined my lips. But I feel like the red, it's just kind of, I don't know, it's like too soft, but yet too much as far as a gloss goes. For me, I just don't love it. Now it's gone on pretty smooth. It hasn't started tingling yet. It probably will as I kind of do a rundown of these products. So I'll let you know what the tingle is like in comparison to like some of their other plumpers. Their first generation of plumpers I think were really strong. This might not be as strong. As far as the shade goes, I don't really love the shade. So here is the makeup look, and I have very, very, very mixed feelings about it. It's not my favorite overall, but you know, that happens sometimes. So I do want to do a quick rundown of all the products, including the brushes. So this brush here is, you know, really pretty nice. I do love the style of the handle. This here was really nice for, you could use this for shimmer eyeshadows, both liquid and powder. You could use it for concealer, cleaning up your brows, doing a little spot treatment type of a thing. So really nice. This here was pretty soft. I used it to put on powder. I will test it with bronzer and blush some other time, but it did a really nice job with the powder. Yeah, overall for $1.25, it seems to be a really nice brush. Then the Kabuki brush. It's very, very lightweight. The bristles are pretty thick and pretty soft. It did a really nice job blending the highlighter and the bronzer. The blush ended up being like a little splotchy. I was able to kind of save it with my beauty blender, but I don't know that it was the brush's fault. I think it was just that formula kind of dies down. It has a little bit of a tendency to do that. What I will say about this brush, like I said, it's very light and it is very cheap feeling. Not so much the bristles, but the handle feels very, very cheap. And it feels like this probably isn't going to be very durable. But overall, a nice little brush for as long as it lasts. Of course, I'll keep you updated and let you know how it's holding up over time. So some of the standouts, I think the liquid bronzer was really kind of nice. This shade here was very, very easy to work with. It was easy to not go overboard. It does dry down really quick. But yeah, I was able to like not go super, super overboard. So I really like this blush and this shade. I would love for them to come out with highlighters as well. The liquid liner from Mercerie in black. Just a really nice, you know, black liquid liner, especially for $1.25. And then of course the LA Colors liquid shadow. They always make really, really great liquid shadows. And you know me, I love a shade like this, a pearly white shade. Yeah, always well done with LA Colors and their liquid shadows. So now some products that were just kind of okay. The blush, the shade was really, really nice. Like I said, it was a little bit splotchy when I used the brush, but I was able to kind of smooth it out with my beauty blender. I think the shade is really, really nice. It's a nice mauve, soft color, so it'd be nice for lighter skin or, you know, medium skin tones where you tend to go overboard like I do. And then the Mercerie liquid shadow, like I said, it's pretty. It's gotten a nice effect. I don't know the lasting power of it. And really just very, very pretty. I'd be curious to try some other shades, especially lighter ones and gold. You know how I love those types of shades. So between this and the LA Colors, I did end up getting a really nice effect. And so I'm starting to feel a little bit of a tingle on my lips. So it doesn't seem to be as intense as like their first lip plumpers. Those are just like crazy intense. And they do have a red one in their earliest generation of lip plumpers. Like I said, over the years, I think they've toned down the tingle. And I think it's a great gloss. I don't love this shade. I'm just really picky when I put a red on my lip. But as far as the formula, like I said, it seems to, I don't think it plumps. I don't think any of these lip plumpers actually plump. But the formula is nice. It went on really smooth on my lips. Like I said, I just don't really love this shade. But as far as the tingle, I'm barely feeling anything at all. And then last but not least, we have an epic fail in this concealer. This is awful. I seriously do believe they actually made it worse than I remember. It is worse than I remember. So it's got a pretty pink cap and it's a terrible, awful product. It's just not good. It was a little bit better under my eyes than it was for cleaning my brows. Cleaning my brows, it was absolutely useless. Yeah, I would not spend $1.25 on this ever again. I literally bought this like to test it out just because it had the new packaging and I was hopeful test it out for you guys. But yeah, this right here, I would totally pass on. And then again, this is fine. I don't know. It's like for my skin, like I don't need a ton of coverage. So this is kind of okay. And I do love the little pump bottle, but I just love Candy Moyo better. I just do. So this right here, if I can get a BPure or Candy Moyo, I'm gonna pick those over this. I do feel like it sank into my skin a little bit better. I feel like it used to kind of move around my face a little bit more. Next time I apply it, I'll try it with like a foundation brush and just see if that's true. But yeah, this is just, you know, again, I really haven't changed how I feel about these products here, even though they've got new packaging. So of course, if you enjoyed this video, show me you did by hitting the like button, and also hype this video if you are able. Definitely let me know which of these items you have tried, what you think. You know I love hearing from you all. I will have related content linked down below. That way you can binge watch more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.